Hey everyone, thank you for coming back to my YouTube channel, all one of you, to watch another one of my YouTube videos. On today's episode, I want to talk about the show Insecure. It is one of my all-time favorite TV shows. I don't really have a good attention span, so for me to actually pay attention to a TV show, it is really good. There's only a handful of TV shows that I can pay attention to and actually watch. For example, Scandal, Schitt's Creek, Euphoria, The Office, Golden Girls, The Miranda Show, which is really good, and Insecure. Big Little Lies. Those are just a handful of shows that were able to keep my attention. All the people in my life, they're like, oh, try watching this show or that show. You got to give it 9 more episodes and then it starts to pick up. I'm sorry, I don't have time for that. The show really has to catch me. The first episode, I'm not going to invest time of my life to give an episode, a show 9 or 10 episodes or 5 seasons to finally pick up. You're either good or you're not. And I just don't have the patience for that. So anyway, those shows that I named are great. Insecure, it premiered, I think 2 weeks ago. So for me, what is really hitting home with me is I'm loving how they are kind of showing the demise of the friendship between Issa and Molly. That really hit home for me because once I started to dive into acting, once I took that leap of faith and left, I guess you would call a normal people job to take on gig jobs so that I could be available for acting in auditions, I lost a lot of friends because sometimes in life when you move on to something else or you move up in life, or you don't even have to necessarily move up, you could just not necessarily do the same things as you guys used to always do together or be involved in the same things that you guys used to be involved in, and they just no longer relate to you. So I had a lot of issues where people just didn't know how to relate to me anymore. It's like you work in retail at the mall and that's pretty much going to be your career for probably the rest of your life, and that's not what I'm trying to do. So we no longer get to go home and complain about how annoying the district manager is, or we don't have the same type of customer issues anymore, so there's really nothing to talk about. My things that I'm involved in are not the same as everybody else. The average person goes to work, they might work out or go to some kind of church function, and then they go home. But when you're involved in a career in the entertainment industry, such as myself, being an actress, you're kind of unpredictable. There's acting classes, there's auditions, there's table reads, there's rehearsals, there's dress rehearsals, there's so much going on. And somebody with the average job is not going to be able to relate to that. So I also lost a lot of friends in that sense. Now, also, I did notice once I got involved in counseling, I think that was in 2018, once I got involved in counseling and started to improve myself, I also lost friends because of that, because no longer was I the same person who would call and complain and always have some kind of relationship issues going on. Now I'm this different person and I'm actually working on bettering myself, and there are people who actually liked me when I was a mess. I'm still a mess. But sometimes people can't vibe with this new and improved person who's going after their dreams, because then that puts a mirror to them and it shows them what they're not doing in life. They're not improving. They're choosing not to go anywhere. And I was naive in the fact that I thought that people were going to come along in the journey with me, and I fought tooth and nail for a lot of those relationships, and it just couldn't go on. And that's a big lesson that I learned in my life, is that you cannot take everybody with you everywhere in your life, and that's okay. And a part of me is really a little jealous when I hear about people that are like, yes, this person's been my friend since kindergarten, this person's been my friend since college, and I don't have that. So If you have really good friendships like that, hold on to them, for dear life. My personal story, I did have a friend that was in my life for 5 years. And once there were little red flags that I ignored along the way, like little comments that were made, and I would just kind of shy it off because I'm not an angel either. Sometimes I tend to be very blunt with my friends. For example, she's in a situation where she's with someone who's not working and they're spending all of her money, and that just really, I was very vocal about that. And the mistake that I made is not realizing that if somebody's choosing to live their life a certain way, there's nothing that I can say to make them snap out of it. That's a personal journey that they're going to have to go on their own, and I should have just accepted that or let the friendship go. So that's definitely something that I contributed to that situation. But I did notice once I started therapy, that would be my go-to person that I would always call before I started therapy to complain about some guy I was dating, some issue that I was having. But now that I had therapy and I had my therapist to talk to who could actually really help me sort out my issues and not just say what I wanted to hear, I really didn't need to talk to that person as much because our relationship was built on me talking about drama and the issues and how much we hate our jobs and, all that kind of stuff. So now that was eliminated, that was something else that put a strain on our relationship. There was a time I lost 25 pounds because I had gained moving to Texas. There's a lot of Mexican food and barbecue here. So there's a lot of reason to gain weight. So once I lost 24 pounds, that put another wedge in our friendship because I was, again, in a different way, not just mentally, but physically also working on myself and trying to improve myself. And they started to not even want to be around me. I noticed when I would come to have lunch with them, when I would walk up, they would kind of look me up and down like, kind of like I can't explain it, like a jealous look, I guess, but I'm not a supermodel in any way. So I was just like, okay, what's her deal? Once I quit, because we worked for the same company, once I quit that company, that was basically the end of our friendship because there was no more complaining about our boss. We didn't have the same customer type issues to talk about anymore. And I was off chasing my dreams, and they're going to be doing this retail job for the rest of their lives. So when you have a dynamic like that, if the person is not like 100% secure in who they are, any type of improvement that you do, it's going to piss them off. They're not going to be able to handle it because they're wanting to stay here for the rest of their life, and you're off trying to discover yourself and chase your dreams and go after all these different things, and they can no longer relate to you. Now, is that always the case? No, it's not. A good friend is going to support you throughout your journey. They're going to hold you accountable. They're going to encourage you and cheer you on and just welcome the improvements and the awesome changes that you're making in life. But a toxic friend, and sometimes I hate that word because I feel like we just kind of throw it around when we just don't like somebody or when somebody just doesn't agree with us. We just want to call everybody toxic. We just kind of sprinkle it up in the air like confetti, like toxic. This person's toxic. That person's toxic. This person's toxic. Everybody ain't toxic, honey. So be very careful when you use that word. A toxic friend is going to see the improvements that you're making in life, and they're going to be threatened by it. They're going to make little cutting comments, and they're going to try to compete with you. They're going to try to minimize your accomplishments like it's not really that big of a deal. They're not really going to be supportive. Whenever you get around them and you talk about things that you're doing to better yourself, they're really not going to engage in those conversations much. They're not going to encourage them. When people put you in a box, anytime you step out of that box, they're either going to react positively or they're going to react negatively. And in this case, unfortunately, this person acted negatively. I fought for this friendship for dear life, because it's really hard to come by like close friendships like the ones we had. We both have kids and we both have crazy exes and we worked at the same place at one point and dealt with a lot of the same issues. And so it was really great to have somebody in my life who understood me. This person also helped me a lot through some of the toughest times in my life, and I will never forget that for them. But like I said, the number one lesson that I had to learn through that whole situation is everyone cannot go with you throughout your journey in life. If you are blessed to have people that are going to support you at every level, or better yet, try to come with you and do some of the things that you're doing, that's amazing. But usually that's not the case. When you're doing better, it shows me that I'm not doing better, and I'm either going to react positively or negatively. And sometimes people act negatively, and that's unfortunate. And I've spent a lot of time mourning that relationship, and sometimes I want to pick up the phone and call her and text her and tell her things that are going on in my life. But I also know, based on past reactions, that she's not going to be happy for me. She's not going to be supportive. The final nail in the coffin for me was I invited her to a Christmas play that I was doing, and she said via text, and she said to my face that she was going to be in attendance. And there were several performances of that play, and she did not attend any of them. And I was like, okay, I think I get it now. So I spent time mourning that relationship, and I think that especially as women, we can be so forgiving and we can make so many exceptions for people, and we just want to think the best. And sometimes we have to be willing to just let things go and move on and accept the fact that not everything's going to work out. Not everyone's going to grow with you. Sometimes relationships are only there to get you through that particular time in your life. Since letting that particular friendship finally just die, I've met so many people in this season of my life who are just like me, who are also actors and writers, and some are models and directors. I've met so many cool people who share the same interests and passions as I do. And I want to say that's even better. And I felt freer. And as women, we tend to build a lot of our relationships on drama, on issues, on tragedy. That's how we bond. We tend to bond with each other because, our boyfriend broke up with us, or we're going through a divorce or a loss of some sort, or some kind of tragedy. That's usually how women come together, or your boss is mistreating you, so you guys come together and talk about that. But it's, I don't want to say that it's rare, but through negativity is usually how female relationships are formed. And I can speak for myself and say that that is usually very true. And the way to break that is to meet people through good things, like at a gym, or to join, take dance lessons or something, meeting people in positive situations, so that as you're improving in life, your relationship is not contingent upon drama and crappy things happening. For example, if you're used to me calling you to talk about what some guy did to me, and then the moment I no longer have dating as my focus, we no longer have anything to talk about. If our relationship is contingent upon our boss being a jerk to us, and then I quit and we no longer have that boss to talk about, then we no longer have anything else to talk about. But if our friendship is formed on, we're both new to acting classes, what projects are you working on? It's built on something that's not negative, that we both can talk about. So yeah, that was one of the hardest things for me in 2019 is losing all the friends that I lost due to the fact that I just decided to pursue my dreams. And it's so funny. My Facebook is personal. I only let people that I've met personally onto my Facebook. And I am very vocal about things that I like, that I don't like, injustices done against people, and people don't block me over that stuff. At least nobody that I've noticed. If I didn't notice them, maybe they didn't matter that much. But I've said so much about things like that and important issues. But the moment that I started, talking about acting and those things that are important to me, that's when people started dropping like flies from my life. I say all that to say, I really love Insecure. That show is amazing. And I wish we had more conversations about how friendships can die, or go through ups and downs, and sometimes fall apart. And it's it's so annoying to watch certain TV shows and the friends have an argument, and in that 30-minute or an hour episode they make up and they're friends again. I don't think that's realistic. There's so many different ways that friendships go on. You can be friends for the rest of your life. You can be friends for a season. You can have a tough time and then get friends again. But I really feel like we need more representation about the truth about what friendships can be like. So that has been my favorite part, my favorite storyline of this particular season of Insecure, and I'm looking forward to seeing more episodes of it. And thank you guys so much for watching, and tune in for another video whenever I decide to post it. Have a great day, guys. Bye.